Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another fantastic episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye Spinach. He is the Tranquil Dart of Ringside Society and Delaware's greatest American hero. And whenever he goes to Taco Bell, he orders a chief burrito because he loves chicken and beef at the same time. Wow, he's some kind of man. Eh, Rob, he's Rob Bass, and you are not. And the second corner we have ocean crossing, straight up bossing, flight catching, shot glass snatching, always positive, life is great, repping 592, living in the 718, no cap, straight facts, the worldwide starboy, Remy Blue. And our special guests tonight are two men who are actually making a name for themselves in the greatest city in the world, the most exciting city in the world, the Empire State, New York, and they're kicking butt and taking names in promotions such as Battle Club Pro. Shout out to Joe Kim and Janelle from HR. They're doing really good things down there. Everybody, welcome to the show, David Rivera and KJ Mack, the Scotaricans.
Woo!
Hold on.
Pretty good, gentlemen. Thank you very much, for accepting our invite to be on the show. We really and truly appreciate it. We saw that y'all were doing big things over there, so we decided, hey, you know something? We got to get these two men on our show, before they end up getting that big contract, and then we got to talk to their people, have their people call our people for some expensive lunch to talk about them being on the show. So we decided to get y'all on here right now. So really and truly, thank you. I've seen you guys wrestle live in person, and y'all are very impressive, man. Y'all definitely, are on your way. Yeah,
Really appreciate it. Thank you.
and we actually had your stablemate, Jordy Lee, on the show, and yeah,
It's Jordy F. It's Jordy F. and Lee.
yeah, Jordy F and Lee.
Yeah.
Gotta
She's
gotta
telling people.
Legal middle name.
Yeah, gotta have the effing in there. You can't leave the effing out, But yeah, Jordy F and Lee. And y'all are definitely a great trio. I look forward to seeing more of y'all. Hopefully we can see y'all in Delaware, where Rob is actually referees, because Rob's a referee for 1CW. And 1CW, they normally do joint shows with CCW. So, I'm crossing my fingers. Hopefully y'all get that opportunity to wrestle in Delaware. If you haven't already, I don't know if you have, but hopefully,
Yeah, we'll get there.
Rob, you're the main you're the main man, man. You're the one that's closest to Hardy and them. Say, hey,
I'll put in the word, man. I'll put in the word. I'll say something.
yeah, we
Don't
got.
worry,
I'm going to school tomorrow, man. I'm going to training tomorrow, man. So I'll do that.
Yeah.
To me.
So how's everything been for y'all recently, man? I mean, you guys have been, doing your thing. I saw one poor unfortunate soul actually get kicked in the gonads by Jordy Lee. Sorry for that. Hopefully that guy has a lot of ice on deck, because that kind of kick she gave that guy looked like a kick that could have won a score goal for the New York Giants. So
First of all, she had on black Tims. She had the black nasties on. So and secondly, in our defense, he deserved it.
He very much deserved it. Yeah.
Jeez. You should change her name to Jordy No Mercy Lee, not Jordy effing. She didn't even put on the black Tims. That's even
Black
worse. Jeez. Man. But anyways, man, I gotta say, y'all are definitely impressive. I like the fact that you guys took both your, KJ, you're Scottish, David, you're Puerto Rican, and y'all took them both and were like, boom, the Scotaricans. And y'all got both the flags out there and whatnot. So yeah, man, that's that. I like that. I like that dynamic y'all got.
Yeah, it's a funny thing because we were just rolling around in practice one day, and it was just us goofing around. I was like, me and you just become tag team. We'll just Scotaricans. It just literally just shot up. It started off as a
It was a
rib.
rib. It was 100% a rib.
And we told Joe, like, Joaquin just, messing with him. And he was like, I like it. And then before you know it, he started tweeting a Scottish and Puerto Rican flag. And then we was like, oh, we're on to something.
Yeah.
Something has to be working. And then before you know it, we made our debut on the 420 show.
And a title match.
We had a tag team title match, our first match.
Oh, that was the Woman Crush Wednesday 2 show, right?
Yeah.
The one.
Yes. Welcome to
Yeah,
New York
was-
City show.
Yeah, that was the one I was actually. Yeah, that was the one where Jordy was in that 6-woman.
Yes.
Survival of the fittest. Yeah.
We couldn't catch her in time, but
Yeah,
We thought we did a good thing. We thought we did a good job.
I told her like it's funny because I remember when I was at that show, I was like, I met Jordy like last November, last December, somewhere around there. It was at a We Are Wrestling show in Ridgefield, New Jersey. And I was like,
Yeah.
do you?
Oh, that was the one I was
He
working.
was working that match.
Yeah.
That show.
Oh, man. You put that whooping on the working guy. I remember that.
At the door and then get my ass kicked by Leroy while I was playing a Switch.
Man, hey, yo, KJ, you made that guy live up to his name because you gave him that work in that ring for him. I better stop laughing before he comes looking for me. Like, oh, you thought my defeat was funny, huh? I got.
Tell you something. It was my first and easily my most decisive victory so far, and then unfortunately took a whipping in the main card, and it's kind of followed a similar trajectory since.
Yeah, that was a great card, by the way. I remember I saw Jordy at that show, and I was like, I didn't know where her name was, but I told her, yeah, I do a podcast. After she wrestled, she's like, yeah, she's training to wrestle. I'm like, okay, well, whenever you debut, we'll definitely have you on the show. We gonna anybody that we see that's training and debuts, we just need one, like Nas, how Nas said he needs one mic. We just need one match, and then boom, we're gonna have you on here. But crazily enough, I DM'd her another I think a couple weeks later. She was still training, and then I lost contact. I couldn't remember what her name was, and then all of a sudden, I saw Jordy Lee is the next entrant in the six woman scramble. I was like, wait a minute. And it was before that match. I was saying I can't find this girl's DM because I want to find out if she's still wrestling. And then lo and behold, a couple minutes afterwards, she debuts. And I asked my friend, I'm like, my friend Jose, he's like, yo, who's that? He's like, Jordy, she's a new wrestler. I'm like, I met her before. And I was like, yeah, she debuted. I got to get her on the show now. So,
Bro, we say it all the time. She's like Beetlejuice. We talk about her and she just appears.
Yeah.
Genuinely, I think any minute she'll come walking across here. She just appears all the time. We need to put a bell on her so we know where she is.
Say it 3 times, she pops up.
yeah, y'all definitely got a good statement on your hands because she's real and whatnot, and she doesn't fake nothing. She comes out there with the jeans and the shirt, and just does business. She don't even care what size you are. I saw her against Sammy Chaos. I'm like, oh snap, yo.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't even want Sammy Chaos.
I don't want
So I gotta ask you two gentlemen now, man. Y'all, y'all are tag team whatnot, but how did y'all become fans of pro wrestling? What was the match or the main event that y'all saw? Normally this is an individual question, so but
I'll let him go first because my story's a little longer.
But I mean, the one that first got me into wrestling back home, I was at so it's a weird concept to people here, but kind of trailer parks and stuff, that can be a getaway vacation for people in the UK. They have dedicated places to take trailers and stuff and have a holiday with some entertainment and stuff. And the indie guys back home do the circuit of all the different parks. And the first time I ever watched wrestling was about 7, and I saw BT Gunn, Wolfgang, God, there was loads of people on there. Some of which we don't talk about anymore, but there was a lot of people on there that fell in love instantly. And little did I know that day I was actually seeing my future coaches that I would actually work with back home before I moved out here. But I went away from it for a long time when I hit high school, or like, I don't know what the equivalent is here, but I was about 12, 13. I stopped watching.
Middle school,
there you go. And then by the time Kofi Mania came around, WrestleMania 35, that was the first show that I'd watched since I was like 12. And I was 19 at the time. And that brought me back and then brought me into actually doing it. I was like, hey, this may be something that I could be interested in doing. Took it up, and then well, as they say, the rest is history.
Oh, that's awesome. So, David, how about you? How did it start for you?
So, I unfortunately, I'm a lot older than this gentleman. So, my first vivid memories of wrestling was Razor Ramon versus 1-2-3 Kid.
Okay.
And I just remember watching him pop his head on the floor and look like it was gonna die, and I was hooked ever since. Throughout middle school, high school, all I did was watch wrestling. But I was like one of those secret wrestling fans that wouldn't, let everybody know that, because wrestling was cool in the Attitude Era, and then it slowed down, and I still continue on with it. I actually started a lot earlier. I started when I was like 19. I actually trained at Johnny Rod's for about 2 years. Yeah, I trained at Johnny Rod's for about 2 years with a young George, Jorge Santi, and young Steve Pena and all those guys. So I was there about 2008, 2009, right before WrestleMania 24. I remember it was about 2 weeks before WrestleMania 24 where I started at Johnny Rod's, and then I went to WrestleMania. And then I was just like, I got to keep doing this. But then, life has roadblocks, and I had 2 beautiful daughters. So I had to be the responsible one and, just be the dad and the provider. But then I started back again last year, actually. November makes a year that I started at the Fallout. And I haven't turned back since.
That's awesome. That's awesome that, you gave it another chance, and you're back, and you went through the Fallout and whatnot. I gotta say, the Fallout, they're doing a lot. They're doing a lot of good things, man. A lot of impressive people are coming from there, and I got my eye on y'all, man. Y'all are definitely y'all are like another school that we constantly whose students we constantly interview, the Nightmare Factory. Y'all are slowly becoming like them. No, not slowly, rapidly becoming by them. Becoming like them. So yeah, but the fact that Razor Ramon and 1-2-3 Kid, yeah, I remember that match like it was. I remember that small little feud like it was yesterday. This guy out of nowhere gets a win over Razor Ramon, and then all of a sudden Razor Ramon becomes best buddies with him, and little did we know that they were actually part of a clique. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
And
he was Scott Hall when I was born.
Yeah, so I started wrestling. He was 7 years old, so that should go tell you the age difference, the age gap.
I was born during the invasion angle.
I'm like the dad, where I'm like, yeah, they're telling me all this anime stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know any of that. You guys completely know, because him and Jordy are on the same age.
Yeah,
so I'm like the old father figure. I'm like, guys, chill out. I'm the old man of the group.
Look at Mustache Mountain. I mean, I shouldn't put man's business out there, but
we know.
7.
We're familiar with those.
7 is up there in age.
Yeah.
Tyler, I'm not gonna say what man's age is, but yeah,
you can't do that.
Yeah, Tyler's only a couple of years older than me.
Yeah,
that was one when I started wrestling. I had actually went in the very, very beginning, like a couple of months that I was training pre-pandemic. I was living in London at the time, and NXT UK was kicking off, and someone that had worked with the promotion that I was training with, and so I was looking into him, and I was like, "Yo, this guy's like 3 years older than me. What the fuck?" So like that was the whole thing where I was like, "Yep, this is doable."
Yeah. So David, I'm gonna go with you first. So you're Puerto Rican, and you've had WB has had several Puerto Rican wrestlers in the spotlight. You've had, of course, we can't forget the first ever Triple Crown champion, Pedro Morales. We've had Las Boricuas. We've had Sabio, which also included Sabio Vega.
Legend.
And you've also had several others. Of course, the first ever Queen of the Ring, Zelina Vega. And now you have Damian Priest in the mix, doing battles with people like Rey Mysterio. As a matter of fact, I believe he beat Rey Mysterio. Yes. And he's battles with people like Edge and several other people. What is it like to actually, be of the same country as, Damian Priest and see him in the spotlight doing great things and whatnot? And he's from New York too, so he's New Yorican. So yeah, he's from New York as well.
One word comes to mind: inspirational. You see somebody like that make it and be in the main stage. You got to remember, he had a big match with Bad Bunny, at WrestleMania against The Miz and John Morrison. So these are things that, as a Puerto Rican, as a Latino wrestler, you aspire, you desire to be in that same level as him, and that's the goal, right? It should always be the goal to make it as far as he did and then some. Because if he made it, let's say he wins the IC title or the World Heavyweight title or the Universal title, that's the goal, is to be the next one to get it. Because we got to leave a mark.
Awesome. That's cool. Yeah, I'll never forget when I first saw the Ezekiel Jackson, who was actually I'm Guyanese, who was actually Guyanese as well.
Yep.
He actually, made his debut, and then after he won the Intercontinental title, I was like, wow, finally! Like I never thought in all my years. I've been watching wrestling. I was watching. Let's see, that was what 2011. So at that time, I was watching it for 21 years, and I was like, wow, I never thought in all my years I'd ever see this. But then all of a sudden, I'm like, I found out years later that not Kenny Omega, Kenny King is half Guyanese as well too. So I'm like, yeah, he couldn't have said something, man. Like, come on, bro. Like, and I met the man.
Some Latinos are, they're afraid to fit the stereotype of being the Puerto Rican wrestler or the Dominican wrestler. But I say you embrace it, because people are going to acknowledge you. When you have a flag, when you have any type of representation, they'll acknowledge you as he's one of us. If he can make it, anybody else can make it. And that's what you have to go with.
Yeah.
It's inspiration. He's one of us. We want to be like him.
Cool.
And that's how.
So KJ, you're Scottish as well, and of course, you've had we got one of the biggest out of Scotland, Drew McIntyre, doing his thing, and we've also had another guy by the name of Grado, who actually wrestled in Impact as well too. Was very over the crowd. So what was your mindset seeing two of your fellow countrymen, especially Drew McIntyre, like get into the upper echelon of WWE and winning the world title, especially from one of the most dominant champions, Brock Lesnar? Like what was going through your mindset when all that happened, and to see these men, in the spotlight representing Scotland?
It was amazing. Like sitting looking at that kind of stuff, because a lot of the people that I saw kind of as a kid are now coming through to be at the top of the pecking order now. Like obviously you've got Drew, you've got Grado, you've got Nikki Cross, Ash, you've got Dewdrop / Viper, you've got Olive Gallus, like all from the same kind of rough kind of 25-30 mile radius. Like, and the thing is, like, when I moved here, like, New York City has a higher population than Scotland. Like, this city has more people than my entire country. So it's one of those things where, like, seeing that many people in such a small concentration succeed in a large company like WWE in any fashion just proved that, like, oh yeah, people from where I'm from can do it too, which was great to see. And especially like Drew's journey with WWE kind of coincided, oddly enough, with my watching of WWE. Like, I started in 07 as he was coming in. I dipped 2013, just around about the time he got released. And then I come back 2019, just not long after he came back, because that first Mania that I watched when I came back, it was him and Roman. Roman had just come back from he'd been away with cancer, right?
Cancer.
Yeah. It was the first bout of that, and he'd just come back, and it was him and Roman at Mania during that Kofi Mania kind of season. And then obviously went on, won the Rumble, won against Lesnar during that pandemic WrestleMania. And that was just me and my younger brother. I've got a few younger siblings, but me and my younger brother both like wrestling. We're in the living room, obviously time difference, so it was like 3-4 a.m., absolutely losing it in the living room. Like, I remember when he won the Rumble, I was living in a flat in an apartment in London at the time, and I got noise complaints from the landlord the next day. It was like, yo, like at 3 o'clock this morning, there was a lot of noise apparently. What's going on? I was like, oh no, nothing at all. But I was losing it when Drew had won the Rumble, and then similar kind of scenario, pandemic Mania, when he beat Brock. Me and my brother just absolutely losing it. My dad come down the stairs, who had work in the morning, just pissed. He's just like, what's going on down here? What's happening? We're absolutely losing it over Drew winning. So it's like stuff like that. It gives you a little something. It gives you pride, and that's why, like Dave said, that when we do our entrances, we always make sure we've got the flags. We've got the Scottish flag. We've got the Puerto Rican flag. Like I've got my Scotaricans hat on just now. We make sure that we're representing both at all times, because like if we go somewhere with this, we want to make sure that people like us from where we're from have that kind of that light to follow.
Oh, that's awesome. Didn't know y'all had Scotaricans hat, man. Shoots. I'm gonna have to get one myself next time, man. Next time,
get some t-shirts. Get some t-shirts.
Yeah, and hopefully, you guys get to actually wrestle in your respective countries. I know there's a there's a wrestling scene in Puerto Rico, especially ran by the Colones. Well, not ran by, but the Colones are like, I'd say, the first family. And correct me if I'm wrong, anybody. I've never been to Puerto Rico. I only know a couple places like Bayamon and Ponce, Mayagüez. But from what I've seen, they're actually the first family of Puerto Rico. Hopefully, you guys get to wrestle over there, especially for WWC, I believe it's called. And then hopefully you guys get to go over to Scotland and wrestle for do the wrestling scene over there.
That was one thing that, like, over the summer we were unfortunately separated for a couple of months. That I went home, visited family and stuff over the summer. So whilst I was at home, Wolfgang had started a promotion called Iron Girders, and that's where I had been training prior to moving to America. So when I was at home, I got to work with them. I got to work a Rumble, and there was a whole host of names on there. But I got to work a one-on-one with Leighton Buzzard, who just placed in the PWI 500 as well. And that was possibly up there as tied with my match with Steve Pena. Is probably the best match of my career, and that was amazing. So I'd love to be able to go as the Scotaricans, as the full complement, the three of us, and then go hopefully work YCW, which would be amazing.
Yeah,
definitely hope you guys get to go international and show them what you got and so on. So KJ, so you said your younger brother, is he your younger brother or older brother?
Younger brother, yeah.
So has he ever thought about getting into wrestling too, or is he like, nah, I'll just stick to being a fan?
He's a very, very casual fan, like very, very casual. Like he doesn't watch the week to week. He'll watch the pay-per-views with me when I'm at home. Like he doesn't watch them on his own. He'll watch WrestleMania, he'll watch the Rumble. But when I'm at home and I'm watching the pay-per-view, I'll be like, oh yeah, who's on the card? And I'll run him down the card, and then he'll make a decision kind of day of, yeah, okay, I'll watch it. Because back home, it is a commitment, because if you've got something on the Monday, like you're staying up to 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning to watch some wrestling, and it's dedication, it's a commitment, because if you've got class, if you've got work on that Monday morning, it kicks you in the ass. So I don't think he'd ever think about getting into it per se, but he's definitely my whole family are, to be fair. There's in my immediate family, I've got 3 younger siblings. There's my mum, my dad. I've got an older half brother, and they're very, very supportive. But none of them would be interested in taking part. The younger brother next to me, he's the one that will casually watch, but the rest of them have no interest whatsoever. And the only time they watch wrestling is if I'm in the ring.
Cool. So you guys, you're tag teaming, you're doing your thing. What tag team would you say like you guys get inspiration from, or tag team would you guys say you get inspiration from whenever you're in the ring facing your opponents? Like, some people say, "Oh yeah, me and my tag team, we're like the Legion of Doom, or we're like the Rockers, or we're like the Young Bucks." And like, who would you say y'all tend to draw inspiration from? Not too much, but a little something, something.
So I like to watch a lot of old school wrestling, especially like tag wrestling. So when you think of like inspirations, you look at the Midnight Express, the Rock and Roll Express. You can even go to ECW, look at the Thrill Seekers and all those guys, because they were doing innovative stuff that didn't take that much work to do, but it looked perfect. So when you think of tag teams, those are a few that come to mind. And everybody wants to be like the Road Warriors, right? Because you want that Road Warriors pop. But if you ask me, I love watching the Steiner brothers. Scott Steiner was, to me, one of the most innovative big men I've ever seen. I still don't know how he did half those moves. But some of the moves that these guys are doing in AAA and AEW are all pretty much a carbon fiber copy of what Scott Steiner used to do.
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know about you.
I don't know. Like, obviously, we touched on it earlier. I'm a little shade younger, so like my ones are kind of ruthless aggression era through PG era. Like, obviously, my favorite of all time is Edge. So like Edge and Christian are always going to be up there for me. And
Cameo.
but I think, like, at the moment, like, people that I watch and draw inspiration from, like Gallus, obviously, when I've trained with those guys back home, and when you're getting to work with
another cameo. You should get him on Teixeira. Teixeira.
Really?
Sorry.
We tried.
Dave Rivera.
I don't want to say the other person's in there because she's a superstar. I don't want to.
I've been called all types of weird.
But yeah, like I take from all kind of stuff. I love kind of British strong style as well. You've got, and obviously at the moment the Blackpool Combat Club as well in AEW. I love watching those guys because that's like my bread and butter of how I like to kind of formulate my stuff. So it's always
Our foundation.
Yeah.
Bulldogs, Brainbusters. I watch them all. I get little ideas. I'm constantly sending him clips like, we should try this, but do it another way, and we should try this and do it this way.
Just a heads up.
Always is okay.
Just a heads up. You could possibly, if you ever go on that European tour, when you go on that European tour, I'm speaking into existence for y'all. Y'all could possibly end up facing another tag team called the Bulldogs, the Billington Bulldogs. The Dynamite Kids too. I think they're his grand nephew, their great nieces, great nephews. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll take on anybody.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you. Speaking of tag teams, what are some of your top, like, what are y'all's top 5 tag teams that you want?
Once you speak into existence, it should come, right?
That's it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So, what are some of y'all's what are y'all's top 5 tag teams that you want to wrestle in the near future? They could be from anywhere.
You got another cameo. Look at this cameo. Look at this handsome gentleman right here.
Hey, Joe Kim, what's going on?
Dylan.
Yeah.
How much more you got to go? We got
ain't got long.
What's up, man?
But teams that we want to face.
I'm gonna go right off the back. FTR. I want to work those guys so badly. Yeah. They're just innovative and just so crisp when it comes to tag team wrestling. I feel like just getting in the ring with them, even if it's a squash match, 5 minutes or whatever, I will learn years worth of knowledge in that few minutes of match with them. So that's my top. Yeah, I want to work those guys badly.
I think for me, I've already mentioned them, but British Strong Style and Gallus are my two. Those are guys that I'm looking at coming from my part of the world. Like that's kind of the guys that.
Did we lose them?
We're good. Did we lose them? I was gonna say, yeah. I didn't know if it was my connection or not, because sometimes it does that.
Yeah, it does that too. Oh, they're back here. All right.
Okay. Yeah, it's live TV. It happens.
Hey, welcome back.
There we go. There we are. Hey. Yeah, we're talking about the opponents and stuff there, like British Strong Style, Gallus. They're my kind of top two. But FTR definitely would be such a great learning experience. And then guys on the scene up here, so like main event, Prolific. We've got Fight or Die on the 1st of October.
Get your tickets now.
Yeah, that's the one. So like any of those kind of guys that are kind of the top teams, we want to take on the very best and learn as much as we can.
The Acclaim too. I want to work the Acclaim.
Oh wow, nice.
Those guys are good.
Yeah, they're definitely like. I give it before the year they're gonna hold those tag team titles. They're definitely gonna hold those tag team titles. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and pass it to Rob.
Also, another team that.
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, our connection's really spotty in here. It's kind of starting to go. But could you just repeat that one, please?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm just gonna. Rob actually has like 2 questions to ask you. Cause I know you guys gotta hurry and get the training and whatnot. We don't want to hold you guys up. So I know Rob has a couple of questions. So Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
All right, sweet. Thanks, Remy. So what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing today? How's the day been?
Rob,
we're good, buddy.
Well, that's good. Anything crazy happened today, man? Just normal Monday or no Tuesday.
On Monday.
Yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah. Tuesday. We were just talking.
If you're waking up just now.
Yeah, Tuesday. Yeah. Pretty normal. We're just into train just after we wrap this up. We're going through to the school to get a training session in.
That's right. Yeah, I was going to ask you. Because you're a captain at the Fallout Shelter, aren't you, KJ? Or are both of y'all captains?
We both are. Yeah. We both are.
Okay.
2 of us and Anthony Gambo are 3 captains. Yeah.
So are y'all responsible for the new people coming in, help training them, and all that good stuff? Are you leading the class?
We spoke her into existence.
Yeah, right.
Look who's here. We said her name 3 times.
Jordy, how you doing?
Yeah, said the name 3 times. She came up.
Candyman. You're probably too young for that. Candyman.
Beetlejuice.
Oh no! Whoa. We can't say his name too many times, man. I don't want him coming around acting all crazy and stuff, man. He does all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so the Fallout Shelter, man. Y'all got some people over there. Masha Slamovich, didn't she train over there too and stuff?
Does indeed.
She actually did a little run by. I don't know if you saw her.
Oh, was that? Oh, I couldn't see who it was. Yeah, I've met her before when she was at CCW. As we were down there, I got to meet her and stuff. And afterwards, we met up again at Rural Farms. I was getting munchies and stuff. I guess she was too for the car ride. And she's like, geez, the whole freaking wrestling collective come up here. I was like, man, I guess the spot is right here. Right by the event. So, all right.
Exactly.
That's right. So I gotta ask, David, man, you say you got some kids, man. Do they, what do they think about you wrestling, man? Are they like, Pop is a wrestler? Yeah, they're tearing it up.
So So they tell everybody that I'm a wrestler. All the people in their after school program, all the kids are afraid of me, and they love it. They get scared sometimes when I take certain bumps. So they get a little freaked out. But then they're the first one to ask if I'm okay. They're the first one to cheer for me. So they're my number one fans.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, now are you both into Halloween stuff? Because I did see David's, costume with Joe Dirt, man. That was awesome, man. I like the Joe Dirt stuff, man. So, are y'all in the Halloween thing? And can we expect something cool again this Halloween?
That's the problem. That's what we're working on.
Yeah.
Actually,
Okay.
we're trying to do something as far as a trios.
Yeah, definitely. We've been working.
Okay.
We've been talking about like a trio costume this year, and we've gone through a whole host of stuff from like Suicide Squad to Mortal Kombat to the 3 stages of Pena. We've got also Ghostbusters, everything. But yeah, I'm a massive horror movie fan, and I love when it comes around to Halloween. You get all that kind of stuff going on. I like going down to Orlando with my family for horror nights. So like that's one of the highlights of my year is getting to do horror nights. So I'm going down there in a couple of weeks for that. But yeah, horror movies are my thing. I love them to pieces.
Yeah, I'm going to Orlando for horror night things down there. October 27th, I'm going to be there. That's when we'll
Nice.
be down there.
I'm the weekend before. I'm 22nd, 23rd.
Oh, okay. Darn it. Yeah. Hey, man. Hey, yeah, well, I'm excited to be there, man.
If that was the case.
Yeah. I'm like, oh man, plus I got to fly down there too, man. I'm not driving. I'm kind of nervous about flying. I'm like, oh man, I need to get some Xanax or something. If there's turbulence, I'm gonna have to change my drawers in the bathrooms. There ain't no way. You know what I mean? Like, oh man, jeez. So I did want to ask, so y'all are into Halloween and stuff. Are you ready for the Halloween movie coming out? I think it's at the end of the month or whatever. Next month is the Halloween ends.
It should end.
Yeah, hopefully.
It's just like how long can you stretch that movie out?
Hey, this is the third of this trilogy / quadrilogy. I'm excited for it. Me and the same brother that watches wrestling are obsessed with the Halloween movies. He loves Jamie Lee Curtis. Like that's one of his absolute heroes. So when he just did a marathon the other day of like all the Halloweens, and I think I'm going to need to do the same before the new one comes out, and include the Rob Zombie ones, which he didn't do, because I enjoy them. I enjoy those movies, no matter what people say about them.
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the Rob Zombie ones either. I was like, it seemed too much white trashy or whatever. Kind of like that. I was like, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of the House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil Rejects either. I don't know what it is, but now I do got a good idea for y'all for Halloween, a 3-person Halloween. Y'all could dress up like the Flash, and then just throughout the night you just walk like 5 feet away from me behind each other, so it just looks like you're
Love it.
Oh man. So when is your next show, and do y'all have some new merch coming out?
Yeah, we have October 1st. It's an anniversary show for Battle Club Pro. We're working Fight or Die, Dominic De Niro and Chris Barton. So that should be a fun match. And merch is coming soon. I'm working on it as we speak. We're working on T-shirts and possibly stickers as well.
Yep.
Yeah, because I've seen some of y'all's merch, man. I like that stuff, man. I was like, yo, man. I guess you can't do drone delivery out to where I'm at, or I would have worn one of y'all's shirts, put it on, got one, and put it on, while I'm watching the show. I was like, dang. Wish I would have known earlier. I would have grabbed one. 'Cause, yeah, man, them shirts are awesome.
Yeah.
Now, before I pass it on back to Remy, because I know y'all got to go, are there any new movies and TV shows y'all are watching? Because I'm 40 years old, you know what I mean? And I get stuck watching the same things, over and over again, like comfort shows. I'm always trying to find something new. So is there anything new y'all are watching?
I am an avid watcher of House of Dragon.
Ooh, okay. I love Game of Thrones. Oh.
Anything Game of Thrones I'm watching. And I'm an avid Office watcher. I watch it constantly.
Office.
That's white noise for me. but I don't know about
That's
KJ.
Right now, I missed a couple of episodes of The Walking Dead at the end of the last kind of chunk of episodes that got released, so I'm catching up on those before the final part of it comes on in October. No, the same kind of stuff. I love The Office. It's one of my go-tos. Like you said, white noise. Just put it on in the background whilst you're working away. But I've been really on a bit of a kick with documentaries just now. I'm watching all the stuff on Peacock for the WWE. Like I'm working through Evil just now. All the stuff about all the heel work. I watched the Hogan episode and the Miz episode. And I'm kind of really getting into that, watching all the different network documentaries that are on just now.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Yeah, I like Peacock too, man. They got a lot of documentaries. So does Netflix, man. I like the documentary selection, man. Because I'll be on there, I'm like, oh. Sometimes, they're conspiracy theory ones and all. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm gonna watch them. Conspiracy theories are fun sometimes. If you don't take it too serious, they're fun. They're fun. But yeah, I do want before I pass it to Remy, man. I do want to say, thank you all very much for coming on the show, chatting with us. I had a blast. I don't want to keep you all from your training and stuff. So, I wish y'all nothing but the best. I hope you all start, going around the country collecting gold, just kicking ass, taking names, and hopefully you get down to Delaware one day, man. Maybe I can ref a match or ring announce or something, and get you all out there or something, man.
Make it happen.
So, gentlemen, I just gotta say, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedules to be on our show. We really and truly appreciate it. We're gonna make this quick right now, 'cause we know y'all got somewhere to be. Where can fans find y'all on social media when they want to find out when the Scotaricans are in their town, and also purchase Scotaricans merchandise? And also, where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
So my Instagram is David We Trust. My Twitter is the Dave Rivera. Somebody took in David We Trust on Twitter, so I couldn't take that moniker back. And for bookings, you can either just hit me up on Twitter or on Instagram.
Yep. And for me, at KJ Mack Wrestling on Instagram, at KJ Mack Wrestler on Twitter. And same as Dave, you can hit me up on either of those and I'll promptly respond. And
our DMs are open.
The DMs are always open. And if I've also got an email that I can be hit up from as well, which is kjmackwrestling@gmail.com.
I get all those.
Yeah. But I got a joint one. Joint account.
We'll work on that. And for the merch, it's coming soon. Once it's out, we'll spread the word and everywhere. We'll put it on skyboards and everything. Don't worry about it.
Awesome. That's cool. Gentlemen, once again, thank you. I'm going to make this outro real quick. I normally do a cool outro, but these men got to go. So with that being said, if y'all want to follow us on social media, you can find us on, those y'all watching, if y'all want to follow us on social media, we're on Twitter and Instagram at Ringside Society, Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We're also on Spotify. We're also on YouTube. And we also have a Teespring store where we sell official Ringside Society merch as well. So make sure you check us out. We got a lot of cool stuff coming up. So, you don't want to, trust me, you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody tuning in live tonight. To those y'all
One more thing. October 1st, anniversary show in Brooklyn. Buy your tickets now.
Awesome. If y'all in Brooklyn, definitely check out that show. With that being said, and also to those of y'all that are going to listen to us in advance, when you get those of y'all that are going to listen to us later on when you get a chance, thank you very much in advance. And those of y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away, well, like myself at Golden Corral and Rob Bass at the Taco Festival, we ain't going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. So with that being said, hey, yo, Rob Bass, the Mel Gibson to my Danny Glover, the Tommy to my Ghost, and the Eminem to my Royce the 5'9". One time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for the Scotaricans. What kind of podcast are we?
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. And we'll be back next time. But until then, y'all stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and party on, dudes. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.